We're live. Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We're live. So, yeah, he said we're good on that. We adjusted everything for here, so Snowball Glove should follow that. A little hot, but that's crazy. No, we're gonna be like off to the side. We're gonna be making
It's not even here. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was just. No, it's fine. It sounds exactly like yeah. I need a. I've been running into high school.
What is it?
Yeah.
So where do you have it sitting? It's in, I mean, it's order properly.
Yeah, and it has this little.
Do you like this one or that one?
I don't care.
So for this one.
Once you make promises.
over here.
Promises like that, it's fundamental, you have to take care of.
Yes.
You're last, you're a Z, you're always last.
I'm the most powerful for TikTok. For anybody who's that, I studied this twins.
So it's, no, Lisa.
You said this? 10 years ago. Oh, okay. So when was it? Oh, no.
2 weeks. Came one of my students. Sitting up with that,
Still at work.
I was so worn out, I was like, there's a lot of trading 60, something more to 35,
Yeah. That's good. Just listen. Yeah, but I don't know if that was just fossils.
Good afternoon. So distinguished guests, I'm Ahmad Al-Zahabi, Assistant Professor in Petroleum Engineering Department and the Coordinator of the Order of Engineer. It is with great privilege and enthusiasm that on behalf of the National Board of Governors of the Order of Engineer, I extend a warm welcome to each of you to this momentous ceremony. I'm delighted to share that our ceremony is being live streamed, providing an opportunity for your loved ones to participate in real time from any location. In this era of connectivity, let us embrace the power of technology to transform physical boundaries, enabling your dear ones to be part of this celebration, sharing in the joy and success, and creating lasting memories. Please take a moment to share this special occasion with those who matter. As we embark on this significant event, I would like to acknowledge and express gratitude to the individuals who are assisting in making this ceremony possible. Dr. Dwayne McKay, Dean of College of Engineering, Mr. Isaac Olivas, and Dr. Forrest Flocker, Associate Professor of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Pedro, Visiting Professor of Chemical Engineering, Dr. Zain Zeng, Associate Professor of Petroleum Engineering, Before we begin this ceremony, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Dwayne McKay, who would like to offer a few words of congratulations to the inductees. Dean McKay, please.
Thank you, Dr. Al-Zahabi. If you can't hear me, let me know, and I'll try to get the microphone a little closer. We're here to honor 21 students that are being inducted into the Order of the Engineer today. And that honor is really special because engineering's not an easy curriculum. It really isn't. It's difficult from day one to the last day. In fact, it gets harder as you go along. You get smarter, you get more able to deal with things, but in reality, engineering is one of the few curriculums that increases in intensity and in difficulty from the moment you begin until the end. We should thank Dr. Flocker. I believe you're the one that actually instituted instituted this ceremony that we have to honor. And why should you be honored? Why should you feel so proud of yourself? Well, for one, the 21 of you, you've made it through. You're just about to finish, and you're going to go out into the real world. And believe me, even though university is difficult, it's not the real world. The real world it might be more difficult, it might not be, but for most of us, it was more difficult. But I think that engineering, being in the Order of the Engineer and being invited to, is because you're finishing an ABET accredited program. Now, what does that mean, ABET, being accredited? It means that there's a standard, and the highest standard in the world for engineering programs. So if you graduate from a program like that, you can guarantee yourself you're going to be able to do your job. You're going to be able to perform. That you receive the education you need. He told me not to talk long, but I always talk long, so I apologize. But you received an education that's going to allow you to be a success. How big a success? That's up to you. That's up to you. Depends on how hard you work and how much effort. But what's the difference in being an engineering graduate and a physics graduate? And all those things are difficult. This is not just a discipline. It is a discipline, but it's also a profession. You know, if I was talking to a group of law students or I was talking to a group of medical students, I'd be saying the same thing. That you have accepted the role of being an engineer in society. And that's a lot different than most others. And the reason is that you have an obligation to society that you've agreed to meet. You know, you had to take courses in engineering economics, right? I passed, but that's about all I could say about that class. And you had to be taught about the ethics of engineering and about your obligation to society and things that we as an institution are obligated to make sure that you're capable of understanding what your obligations are. And you've accepted it. And by becoming a member of this order, you will show to the whole world, hey, I'm an engineer. I have a profession. I'm a professional individual. And ultimately, hopefully, you'll become a professional engineer, which would allow you to do things and sign things and be part of things that you can't be as just a graduate. So this is a huge accomplishment. It really is. And lots of people start out, not many people finish. And you should be proud of yourself. And so all I want to say to you and to the parents that are here who, you know, they did more than write checks. They did write a few checks, I'm sure, but they encouraged you, they looked after you, they nurtured you, they got you to a point where you could be a success. And I hope you appreciate them, because they made a huge contribution to not just you, but the world. They allowed us to educate you so that you're going to make the world better. So if you're not proud of yourself, you should be. I know your parents are proud of you. And some of them are just can't get over how exciting they are and that you are. Some of them are shocked that you made it through, I'm sure. There's a few of those. That's what my parents were. But he graduated, amazing, you know. But, so if you're not proud of yourself, think about it. You should be. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. McKay. Now, Mr. Isaac Olivas from ExxonMobil will now speak about the importance of the engineering profession.
Hi, engineers, family of engineers and friends, folks over the remote monitor. It sounds good, doesn't it, to be called an engineer? It's that level of pride that comes with a ceremony like this. It's what you guys are, and it's your reality now. So today, I'm here to chat about the engineering profession and how it connects to the order of the engineer. So I like to think of engineers as the unsung heroes of the world. They're the brains behind from skyscrapers to the most complex microchips. So back when I was in your shoes, excited about the future and what was to come next, I thought engineering was everything from solving problems as quick as you can and getting your test submitted, which that's somewhat true. That's not the whole story. You've been equipped with an engineering lens, so to speak. So now you guys see the world in a different way. So think of it as your superpower that's enabled you to take the next steps and provide society a very valuable individual in yourself. So I'll touch a little bit about a personal story of mine. When I was an early engineer, 3 to 4 years into my career, I was handed a pretty massive task. So I was asked to, in the oil and gas facility, you guys probably drove past a facility on the way here. It's got tanks. I was asked to construct a new facility within 6 months. Not physically construct it, but put it in place to be constructed and completed in that amount of time. So could have gone about this 1,000+ ways, but having the consciousness of the order of the engineer and what that means to me, I was put in a position to take and do what I was asked to do in the highest level of standards. So I could have easily handed this off and punted to somebody else, to a contractor, and said, you guys, we've got 6 months, get after it. You guys have built several of these types of facilities, go ahead and get going. I'm just gonna be here to oversee you guys and not really provide a whole lot of direction on how to get this done in a safe manner. But that's not how that went. We ultimately, what I was able to do was stick to the principles and standards for what I knew. Again, it was early, for the principles and standards that I knew, to hand over a safe and reliable design and still get it done. So I share that story because it's one of many that you all will encounter in your engineering careers. You will constantly be asked to do things at the lowest cost, at the fastest schedule, and with the highest level of quality. You're going to be asked to do all these things all at once, and we all know you can't pick them all and have the best of everything. But so the best way I can put this is, if you were to try to drive to UTPB right now from where you were at today, and 191 was closed, you can get there a lot of different ways, and you can get there as fast as you can. Or you can get there and still abide by the speed limit, still abide by stop signs, stop lights, and not show up over there with 2 wheels and a cow piece of tail hanging on the back of your car. Like, yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can get there, and that's really where this is coming from. Is you guys are aware of how to do things in the most in the best of your ability, and that's what's being asked of you today. So I do want to touch a little bit about engineers in general. You know, how do engineers shape our world? What do engineers ultimately do for us in society? So the best way I can describe that is talking about some of the most mind-blowing engineering feats that are out there. The first one is the Channel Tunnel. So this is a underground tunnel that goes between France and the UK. It's roughly about 400 feet under the sea level there, and the trains can go over 100 miles per hour there. But massive engineering feat, right? It took a lot of calculations, a lot of safety, and doing this the right way, where folks are able to efficiently travel back and forth effectively. You've got the Three Gorges Dam in China. So that's one of the largest power stations in the world. So this is a hydroelectric dam. They're effectively able to dam off one of the rivers, a massive river that's there, and generate electricity, enough electricity to power the state of Arizona. You've got the Palm Islands in Dubai, right? These were civil engineers that came together. They built their own islands in the shape of palm trees. And you've got the Hubble Space Telescope. This was done, over 30 years ago. getting a telescope in space, able to transmit back images to folks on the ground. And then you've got, last is tied to the underground tunnel, but the high-speed rail tracks that are along Japan and in France. These rail tracks, you've got trains that can go about 200 miles per hour, some at high speeds that can get close to 300. So this is not everything, and this is not where we're stopping. Right? This is a bit of a taste of what a proper mindset and what doing engineer at a high level with the highest set of standards with a team can yield. So with all these things in mind, I do want to touch on a thought experiment. If engineers were to vanish, you know, if you guys weren't here today and others like you were not here anymore, what would happen? So several things, but namely infrastructure deterioration. So think of roads, bridges, buildings, everything that's supposed to keep us running daily would start to deteriorate. There's not maintenance schedules to keep things up. There's not folks to do calculations to understand when's the next time we need to replace these kinds of things. You would have bridges, roads falling apart, and nobody there to make the next steps. Technology would stagnate. We just made it very clear that there's a lot of technology related advances that engineers have done. That would come to a pretty much a screeching halt. Who's there to design the next train that goes even faster? Who's there to send the next telescope into space? Energy challenges, we see that here, being in the Permian. We are a big producer of energy. Engineers play a crucial role in making that happen. Water issues, sanitation, healthcare setbacks, biomedical engineers are a big piece of what's in the hospital. Doctors obviously do a big role with healthcare, but they're using a lot of the technology that engineers are putting in the hospitals. So you guys get the idea that things would not be the same if there was folks like you that no longer were committed to doing engineering and doing it correctly. So so with that, you know, as engineers, we've got some key standards that we've got to stick to. And some of these will be touched on, but professionalism, staying professional, being respectful, understanding what the professional standards are, and trying to live up to those standards as closely as possible. Safety, designing things as safe as possible to minimize risk. You guys know what's within engineering safety factors and how to best ensure that what you're doing is within those limits. Sustainability, you know, thinking about the long-term impact, not just what can I do today to get this project done in 6 months. You know, what happens after those 6 months? Is this going to start to fall apart? How sustainable is what you guys are doing in it for the long run? Honesty, you're going to want to stay truthful. Avoiding conflict of interest, it's going to be very easy to be biased and persuaded in certain ways, and that's not our business. Quality, aiming for excellence, industry standards. And then last two, continuing education, then confidentiality. So you guys will be dealt with some highly sensitive material depending on where you're at. There's certain documents, certain calculations, certain technology that nobody else knows about. Obviously, you're going to be expected to stay confidential where that makes sense. So all that to say, huge congratulations for getting to this point in your careers as an engineer. The future is there's a lot of white space in front of you guys. So you guys are here to carry the torch of pride, integrity, responsibility, and your skills and knowledge that you're equipped with now are here to make the difference. That's the punchline here. So I want to congratulate you guys, and welcome you to the Order of the Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Isaac Olivas, for the talk about the engineering profession. And now Dr. Zeng will present the history of the order. Let's welcome Dr. Zeng.
History of the Order of Engineering. The ceremony presents an opportunity for us to take a pledge and to recall that the professional purpose of engineering involves the pursuit of a learned art in the spirit of public service. By following the acceptance of the obligation, the individual engineer reinforces similar efforts of his or her peers, realizing that the unity there is strength. Decades ago, our engineering counterparts in Canada and had this same feeling. They believed that a need existed for the introduction of a spirit of brotherhood and cohesiveness among engineers. So my personal view of this is similar like the medical professionals. Before they can take their license or certificate, they need to declare their obligations, and we are doing the same thing over here. Due to copyright and other conflicting factors, extension of the ratio into this country was not possible. In 1996, a group of engineers in Ohio with members of several engineering organizations began to pursue the objective of what came to be called the Order of the Engineer. While the deliberations of this group were in progress, seniors of Fan College of Engineering of Cleveland State University, consulted by Dean Paul Bush, designed and held a ring ceremony and reception on June 4th, 1970. So this is the ring that you will get. Each participant signed a creed and received a plain stainless steel ring placed on the small finger of his or her working hand. 170 engineering seniors and engineering faculty members took part in this first ceremony. Since then, the movement has spread rapidly throughout the states. Such is the story of an increasing acceptance of the Order of the Engineer, as it is known in the United States today. It is patterned on the Canadian concept, but with the stainless steel ring symbolizing strength and unity of the profession and providing an identifying mark of an engineer. I would now like to ask Dr. Petcher to describe to you the significance of the obligation and the engineer's ring.
Candidates for the order, guests and friends. The Order of the Engineer, to which you will soon belong, is an independent organization. The purpose is to foster a feeling of pride in and dedication to the profession which bind us together. You are asked to accept with pride the meaning of the ceremony to which you are about to subscribe. The obligation should be freely given, and the responsibility gladly accepted. The order is symbolized by acceptance of an obligation and the wearing of a stainless steel ring in the little finger of the working hand. The obligation is the formal statement of an engineer's responsibilities to the public and to the profession. It is a creed similar to the oath attributed to Hippocrates that is commonly taken by medical graduates and which sets forth an ethical code. The obligation likewise contains parts of the canon of ethics of major engineering societies. Initiates, as they voluntarily accepted, pledge to uphold the standards and dignity of the engineering profession and to serve humanity by making the best use of Earth's precious and limited resources. The obligation emphasizes the fact that we, as engineers, have certain obligations. It promotes honesty and integrity and recognizes that today's engineers are dependent on their predecessors for their skills. Now, Dr. Udin will present the significance of the ring.
So as humans, we like to symbolize things. That could be doctrine, that could be religious belief, that could be ideology, anything. So this ring is the symbol of your professionalism, symbol for your pride, symbol for your honor. And when symbol comes, that also comes with responsibility. That means great power comes with great responsibility. So that means we have the obligation to the society to serve the nation and beyond. So one of the, I think Dr. Mackey said that the ABET accreditation, that means you have the ability, if you look for the outcomes for the ABET, that you are now capable of solving problems that addresses global, social, cultural, economic, all sorts of problems. You gain the knowledge, now it's your time to feed back to the nation and the society and beyond that to solve global problems. When you put this thing on your finger, people will see and say, here is an engineer that can solve these problems. So here, they will say the process of a publicly avowed dedication to the profession and to the public they serve. It is our symbol, wear it for all to see. It is a badge of recognition which will become known to all of the sign of a learned professional pledged to making the best use of Earth's precious and limited resources. What that means, if you look at this monitor here and compare with monitors 1970s, you will see a big flat monitor. We precise this exactly by calculating engineering calculations. That means we can optimize resources for the greater benefit. So now Dr. Flocker will administer the acceptance of the obligations. Thank you.
Will all of the candidates and current members of the Order of the Engineer please stand? Candidates, the Order of the Engineer is an independent movement. The purpose is to foster a feeling of pride in and dedication to the profession. Your membership in the Order is symbolized by the acceptance of an obligation and the wearing of the stainless steel ring on the little finger of the working hand. There are no meetings other than this ceremony, and there are no dues. We will now recite the obligation found on the back of the program in unison. I am an engineer. In my profession, I take deep pride. To it, I own solemn obligations. As an engineer, I pledge to practice integrity and fair dealing, tolerance and respect, and to uphold the devotion to the standards and the dignity of my profession, conscious always of my skill carries with it the obligation to serve humanity by making the best use of Earth's precious wealth. As an engineer, I shall participate in none but honest enterprises. When needed, my skill and knowledge shall be given without reservation for the public good. In the performance of my duty and in fidelity to my profession, I shall give my utmost. Now, in the presence of your fellow engineers, you will be called forward to come to the right of the stage and sign your certificate as an indication of your acceptance of the obligation of the Order of the Engineer. You will then place your working hand through the ceremonial ring and receive your ring as an outward sign of your profession. Dr. Al-Zahabi, will you please present the rings to the candidates at the ceremonial ring as they are called? Christian Aaron Alonso. Felipe Andreas Esteta Salinas. Anthony Carrasco. Marilyn Marie Gonzalez. Seth Lee Marsh. Yvette McClure. Paola Orderica. Oscar Portillo. Eleni Fair Richardson. Daniel Sotelo Cardenas. Pedro Trujillo. Hervé Escontrias Benavides. Ken Escobar. Jaden Allen Gray. Micah Hugo. John Tyler James. Kawako Kobea. Juan Leonardo Medina. Reshwan Tahir Mustafa. Renee Solis. Eric Valdez. And now Dr. Al-Zahabi will give some concluding remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Flocker. I welcome each of you to the privileges of the obligations of the Order of Engineer. This rank is a reminder of our calling. Your certificate is your creed. It bears your name and signature. It is your pact with your profession. Read it thoughtfully, regard it with humility, wear your ring proudly and with distinction for our engineer. I ask the audience to join me in congratulating the newest members of the Order of Engineer. This concludes the Order of Engineer ring ceremony. You are invited to an informal reception for the newest member of Order of Engineers just outside the lobby. Now I'm gonna pass it to Michelle to administer the surprise.
Okay, we have $50 gift cards, so we're gonna draw names, and your names are drawn. Delaney Fair Richardson. Sorry. Micah Hugo. Ken Escobar. Renee Solis. Yvette McClure. Marilyn Marie Gonzalez.
Thank you, everybody, for participation.